All right, we are live. Welcome to the House of Horrors, episode 6. Our guest tonight is Clint Carney. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Great. So we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and ask you. We'll wait till some people come in, but I got some questions to ask you if that's all right, and then
For
we'll
sure,
go
yeah.
to Miss Boomstick in the chat when anyone has some questions for you.
Great.
So,
Well, yeah. Thanks for having me on.
absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
How's your weekend going so far?
It was good. I was off today, so got my Fridays and Saturdays off now, which was supposed to start a while ago. So,
Nice.
how about you?
It's working 7 days a week for me. So
Okay, yeah.
What's that cutout behind you?
oh, that's it's an oil painting by the artist Christopher Ulrich. It is a turtle Jesus.
Oh,
The turtle Jesus. Where, where's the April O'Neil Mary?
interesting. I never thought I would see that.
Yeah, the artist is a buddy of mine, but he's a very talented guy, and
Yeah, I see that. I thought it was a cutout. I didn't realize it was an oil painting. That's
Actual
yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
It's a pretty huge one too, as you can see.
Yeah, it looks like it.
uh, well, looks like we got a couple people just came in. Welcome. Let us know who's here in the chat. Here with Clint, we'll be asking him some questions here, and if you have any questions soon, we'll get to you. So, but I guess we'll go ahead and start. Oh,
Yeah,
there we go. Hey, Charles. Yes, smash the like button.
Smash it like
Hard.
turtle Jesus.
Just pound it to the ground. Give it a fist bump. Yeah, I know, and I didn't even realize it. Like when I had you scheduled, was it Brad's doing? What's her name from Friday the 13th? Her actual name is Voorhees.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's going on too. So it might be back and forth with people.
that's
So,
okay.
yeah,
But people always can watch later too, so we can just.
yeah, we can go ahead and start. So,
Sure.
my first question for you is, what age did you start making your own masks, costumes, and art, stuff like that? Got you into it.
I mean, for as long as I can remember, I've made art. So, just as a little kid, like most little kids, you make art, and then I just never stopped. So, visual art, drawing and painting was from a very young age, and then as far as masks and stuff, I probably made my first latex mask when I was in 6th grade, maybe something like that. I don't know how old that would make me. What is that, like 11 or 12 or something?
So always big on Halloween, then, huh?
Yeah, real big. When I was much younger, or not, when I was a kid, I really wanted to be a special effects makeup artist, and so I would read a lot of books on that, like Tom Savini's Grand Illusions books and Dick Smith's Do It Yourself Monster Makeup Handbook. Those were my staple go-tos. So those Dick Smith and Tom Savini probably early on are what really got me into making things at that point.
And that was actually kind of my second question there. Who was your inspiration? And then Tom Savini kind of answered that. Right there.
Like pause just for 1 second. I'm sorry. Charles brought this up that says that Clint sounds a little low. I thought that too, but I'm hard of hearing. I have my TV my monitor set up to like 80 so I could hear you.
Yeah, let's see. Is that better?
Yeah.
All right. That's a little...
Sorry about that. I saw somebody else say it. I thought it was just me since I have a hard time hearing, but when somebody else said it, I knew it wasn't just me.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks, Charles, for pointing that out.
Okay, go ahead and continue. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
But yeah, at a young age, I had a lot of different inspirations. I mean, my dad was into horror as well, but not the same kind I am. He, was into horror from his generation. So I started out watching films like, The Blob or Them, giant monster movies, things like that. And then when I really got into it, I was into, more of the hardcore stuff for my age, at least. I got into Chainsaw Massacre and Return of the Living Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street at a pretty young age. So
Right. And so a little bit going into that, since you said you always wanted to do that, but did you go to school right away for furthering your career on that, or did you have a different major, or that?
no, I didn't go to school at all for it. To be honest, when I was in high school, I was really wrapped up in making visual art and making films and doing music. And maybe stupidly, once I graduated high school, I decided, okay, I'm never going to be good at anything unless I focus. So I kind of put everything except for music on the back burner for a while, focused on that for a number of years until I had some success in the music field. And then, many years after that, kind of jumped back into painting again and finally got back into making films and things like that. So,
okay. What was your first professional job, and how was it that you got brought on board to the project?
I mean, I guess it depends on how you define professional. So, I mean, in high school, after school, and over the summers and stuff, I did work on a couple independent films, low budget films, which I love. So nothing wrong with low budget, but but they never both of those. So on one, I started as a PA because where I was going to high school, there was a local production company that had just started up. I was a PA on one, and then on the second one for the same company, I was the first AC, the assistant cameraman. So pulling focus and changing out hard drives and things like that. And neither film made it through the post-production process, so you can't watch either of those films. So that was kind of my early start. But then once I got back into filmmaking, the first big film I worked on in a very small capacity was Scream 4.
Okay.
So I just did I was a tattoo artist at the time, and one of my clients was my buddy Skip Crank, and he's a prop master, and he's worked on just a ton of films and TV shows over the years, and they needed some paintings for the Stabathon sequence in Scream 4. So he asked if I would do a painting for that, and he also got a lot of other artists involved from a gallery that I show at here in Burbank called Hyena Gallery. So me and a bunch of those artists contributed some artwork for the Stabathon sequence in that. Okay. And then from there it kind of snowballed. Right after that, he started a movie with I started working on a movie with Cameron Crowe called We Bought a Zoo, and I got brought into that movie to make some artwork for that. And then it just ever since then it's just been nonstop craziness with movies and TV.
Okay, and welcome, Justin.
Hey.
So, and yeah, talking about being a concept artist and a prop maker, for those who might not know the difference, could you explain that? And what's some of the favorite props that you've made for any of those films there?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the art that I do for film and television isn't considered concept art because it's art that you would then see that's actually on screen. Although I do also do concept art. So concept art is generally like before. It's like in the pre-production stage, you'll do a drawing of a prop or a character or something basically to show the director to get them to approve it before you would create it at that stage. But then, prop wise, I've worked on so many things. Some of the bigger projects over the years have been J.J. Abrams' Star Trek Into Darkness. And then I did another film for his company called the Cloverfield Paradox, I think it was the third Cloverfield film, whatever.
Yes, Paradox.
And I did Gone Girl with I think that was David Fincher's film, right? Or am I wrong on that?
I got your IMDb pulled up. I can look.
Yeah, and the so
yeah, David Fincher.
Yeah, lots of random stuff like that. And then TV shows, I worked on a few episodes of like The Office and Blackish. I've done like 5 seasons with Blackish now. A lot. It's on IMDb. You can see the list.
That's what I was going to say. Check out his IMDb.
I actually there's for my art department and prop credits on IMDb, that's probably less than half of the things I've actually worked on that are on there, because I'm more often than not uncredited, but which is totally fine.
Yeah, I sort of mentioned, like we mentioned Cloverfield and all. I was saying, were you a fan of Cloverfield prior? Did you see the first two before working on the third one, or?
I was a fan of the first two. Saw them both in the theater. I saw the first one in the theater, second one I saw after. But I really enjoyed those. But when I was working on the third one, it was not a Cloverfield movie.
Right.
It was called The God Particle, I believe, is what it was called. And so, I had a very small thing in that. There's like a close up. There's a Slusho bobblehead in the movie, and that is literally my only contribution to that movie, was that Slusho bobblehead. And so I didn't know it was going to be a Cloverfield movie. That after they wrapped production on God Particle, I think then that got kind of pulled further into the Aliens universe and pulled into that franchise. They filmed some additional stuff afterward.
Nice. Hey Phil, how's it going? As for a little bit bigger project, let's talk about Dry Blood a little bit. What was the inspiration for that, and did you find it challenging to do the writing and portraying the main character?
Yeah, so Dry Blood was a film that I wrote and produced and acted in, and the director's name is Kelton Jones. And a little backstory on that: Kelton and I met in a writing group. I'd formed a screenwriting group just to try to get better, and another friend of mine was also forming a group at the same time, and we merged groups. And so Kelton came from his group, and that's where we met. And we hit it off right away, and we decided we wanted to make a movie together. And Dry Blood was, I think, at the time, maybe my fifth or sixth script that I had written, and we picked that because it was, quite frankly, we didn't have a lot of money to work with, and it was contained location, small cast, and we kind of went at it that way. I didn't realize at the time or early on, I didn't intend to act in it at all. That was just a budgetary constraint.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And,
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun doing it. And then Kelton, the director, also, he plays the cop in the film. Basically, the cast and crew were very intertwined. So
yeah, I was about to say he played the cop. I thought that was like stalking your character.
It was super fun. I guess just the basic start of the idea is that I wanted to tell a ghost story from the point of view of an unreliable narrator. So if you're experiencing the film from this guy's point of view, you never really know if you're really seeing a ghost or if it's his hallucinations. He's mentally unstable and has some substance abuse problems, and that kind of, I wanted to keep the audience on their toes in terms of not knowing whether or not what they were seeing as the audience through this character's eyes was in fact really happening. And we just kind of tried to hold that through the movie as long as possible.
Right. Definitely when I was watching it, got to pay attention, and it does lead to some interesting twists and questions and stuff while you're watching it. So, I think it was portrayed quite well. So. Oh,
thank you. Yeah, it was really fun. And that was my first film as a writer and producer and actor. So, it was a first for many of the people who worked on the film, all 12 of us. So, but it was a lot of fun. And Kelton's actually in pre-production stages. He's getting ready to make another film this year, which I won't say too much about because I'm sure he'll want to talk more about that. But I'm sure he's going to have a lot of great things coming out in the future. And then I am in the process of trying to get my next film off the ground, which fingers crossed, we'll see how it goes.
And you were talking also about independent movies. This wasn't a question I had, but I was thinking, what do you think of the Wild Eye movies, the independent movies there? Are you into those at all, or would you ever consider working on one of them?
To the Wild Eye movies?
Yeah, for a Wild Eye, would you ever do a Wild Eye
movie? What movies have they done? I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, well, they're independent. They release movies of independent filmmakers. Carousel is one. Triggered. There's tons of them.
You're only listing the good ones.
Well, yeah, I'm listing the good ones.
Well, that's good, though. Don't tell me to watch the bad ones. I'm sure they're all good.
they're good in their own way, and I mean, it's a good chance for filmmakers though to put their movies out, and and with each
Yeah,
one,
I mean,
they get better, and
I love a good bad movie, so I'm not gonna lie
Yeah,
about
they are.
that.
They do have some, but you got to be careful once you start getting into like the shark movie.
yeah, the shark movies.
Yeah, if you see anything that, what was his name? Brian. I can't even remember his name. But yeah, a lot of the shark movies they're bad.
Is this like House Shark or Sharknado?
No,
or
House
things
Shark. I actually like House Shark, but
Like,
that's
I haven't
actually,
seen it. But...
It's really funny. And if you end up watching it like House Shark, I highly suggest Bad CGI Sharks. They're hilarious. We've had them. I'm on a different podcast. We had the guys on there that created that. And it's just like they're like one big family, and they put a lot of love into this movie, and they purposely made it bad. But it's very fun. Highly recommended. House Shark, I recommend, but it's not near as good as Bad CGI Sharks. But they're kind of in the like same company, but they're not Wild Eye.
Yeah.
Wild Eye, they like to put megalodons in the lake. They have flying sharks.
Frankenstein sharks.
Sharkenstein, yeah, Frankenstein shark. What else is there? I think Vlasipaster. That's
Okay. I've heard of
good.
that one. That one's been getting some attention lately.
Yeah, that one's not that bad, but they have like Shark Exorcist that doesn't even have like an exorcist in it.
Well, maybe the shark is the exorcist, and you just can't tell because he can't talk.
But yeah, they got some out there films.
Nice. Now I'll have to check them out. I do like a lot of indie cinema, so always down to discover new things.
They have, if you have Amazon Prime, just type in Wild Eye Releasing, and they have a whole list of ones that you can watch on there. So.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yep. Let's see.
Sorry. The bad CGI shark that I suggested, Amazon actually got their name wrong. They are on Prime, but just says shark.
It just says shark.
Yeah. I just saw them talk about that because I talked to the guys a lot, and yeah, they posted that Amazon got their name wrong, so it's just listed as shark on Prime, but Tubi says bad CGI shark.
I see you have a stuffed shark behind you too.
Yeah.
He's our shark expert here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a mask. Awesome.
You're that clever land shark. So when you were working on Santa Clarita Diet, when you made the zombie spider creature,
Mr. Ball Legs.
Mr. Ball Legs. Was there already a concept for it, or was that all you? Did they just describe it to you, or what was the?
Yeah, they just described it for me. So my buddy David Saltzman was the prop master on that, and we had worked together on a number of things. Actually, I had met him. He was the second unit prop master on We Bought a Zoo. So the second major film I worked on, he was on that. I met him there, and he called me up. They had the original, vomit ball, right?
Yeah.
That they threw up, and they only had one. There's only one copy of it, and so they had it all through the first season, and so they gave me that vomit ball to start with. And I made a mold of that, a silicone mold, and I cast a little resin piece. So I had the original vomit ball, and then I believe I started doing some. I think I did some concept sketches for them just to get a general look, and then I just basically sculpted him out. I think I made 3 or 4 different versions of him before we reached on one that they really liked. And they were all very similar versions. The differences between them were like bigger legs, smaller legs, just in scale. It was just the scale with the vomit ball, but it all looked pretty similar. And that was pretty much just like a buildup. That it wasn't like I sculpted it and molded it or anything. I had the mold of the ball, and then I, sculpted the legs up and the bottom part, where it would all connect in the joints. And I wired it up too. I didn't know how they were going to use it, so I wired it so that it could be used as a stop motion puppet, So I had an armature in there, but as you can see in the film, they actually just ended up, it's all digital, what you see on the show. So I believe they either scanned in my original design and animated it from there, or they just looked at it and had someone else resculpted it, or more than likely a combination of the two, I would guess. Probably a digital scan and then clean up. I'm not really sure, but that was a fun one. And I was already I had loved the first season, so always love it when you get to work on a show that you're already a fan of, because a lot of times, it's just like you get a random call, hey, we need this for this show, and a lot of times I haven't seen it before, so that one was cool because I was already a fan. So
yeah, I'm so mad they canceled it. The way they ended it, I was like,
Yes.
I can't wait to see this. Oh, we're not continuing it.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I watched
bummer.
that show. It's like, as soon as the season dropped, I would binge watch that whole season in a day. I absolutely loved Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, the other thing I did was I did do something on season 3 too, also Mr. Ball Legs related. When they have him in the tank, I think it's Drew Barrymore that puts in like a little toy of a spider with a top hat and a cane. I made that too. So, and same process, did the design sketches on it, and then they found the look they like, and then I sculpted it, and made a few copies of that. So,
yeah. So with like spiders and stuff, you also did some work on Itsy Bitsy. Did you do spiders on there too, or what was your?
Yeah, I worked on Itsy Bitsy. I did not do spiders on that originally. Let's see, what did I start as on that film? Have you seen the movie?
I have. I own it.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the spider is, for those who haven't seen it, who may be watching, it's a giant spider movie, but they're not like massive spiders. They're like small dog-sized spiders, which makes them creepier. I think, And there's like this ancient vase type thing, like an egg-shaped thing that's stolen from this tribe, and it has all these inscription on it. And when that breaks open, the spider gets loose. So the first thing I started on was just building that big prop, and it had to be able to shatter and then be rebuilt and shatter, for multiple takes. So I made a couple rubber ones that could just be dropped and you could throw them around. And then the hero one actually was all these different shards that were joined together with magnets. So you could connect it and then you could drop it and it would break apart and look cool on film. And then you could just kind of puzzle it back together and get more takes out of it. So that's what I started doing. And they enjoyed that a lot. And then they ended up doing, after the main story was shot, they decided they wanted to add some elements to it, which is all the tribal sequence that I believe starts the film. So then they brought me back in to do that. And on that, I was actually the art director. So I oversaw, all the sets and the costume stuff that was built on that. And then I actually built like the sacrificial altar and a few other parts like that, all the little weird stuff you see inside the huts and all that jazz.
Okay. So on most of the movies, how often that you're on set and stuff that is just filmed off set that you're not on set at all? Like, are you on set more often than not, or? I'm
not on set most of the time. 90% of the work I do off set. I try to, if I love being on set if I'm writing, directing, acting, producing, but if I'm not doing one of those jobs, I much prefer to be home, or working, building something. It's weird on set, like on a big film, like on a union picture, everyone, you might, on some of the big films I've worked on, there might be, I don't know, I'm probably exaggerating, but it feels like 1,000 people, right? There's definitely over 100 people, on like a big movie set. And because of union regulations, they'll have a very specific job and they can't really do anything outside of the constraints of what that job is. So as like a guy who doesn't like to stop working, it's just frustrating for me a lot of times because I'm there to do a very specific thing and then I have to sit around and twiddle my thumbs for 11 out of 12 hours. So
right. Let's see. You worked on I haven't had a chance to see it. I'm going to check out Sister Tempest. You did the visual effects on that, and also an Angel. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, I have a small role in that film, just one scene where I'm wearing ridiculous wig, which is kind of amazing. The director of that film, Joe Badon, and the editor, Joseph Estrada, I met them both at a film festival in Utah called Film Quest, which is one of my favorite film festivals. And they were there promoting their first feature film, which was called The God Inside My Ear. And it was a very extremely low budget film. And so of course I was in, I had to watch it, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was incredible, very unique, original, so well done. If I had seen the film not knowing what the budget was, I never would have guessed. They really just did a lot with that movie. And so I went up to Joe and Joseph after the screening, and I just said, "Hey, I loved your film. I want to work with you on something." And then we just kind of hit it off. We talked for a while, and we kept in touch. And then when Joe had finished the script for Sister Tempest, he sent it over to me, and I loved it. And ended up coming in as an executive producer on the film. I have a small role in it, and then I did some visual effects on it too. But that being said, the visual effects on it are very light. I'd say there's a little bit of digital, but most of the stuff is all practical in camera, and just very cool and creative and stylistic. A lot of use of like miniatures, and it's just wacky, a very avant-garde kind of film style, but super cool and bizarre and very original, and very proud to just have a small part in it for sure.
Okay. And do you enjoy doing more like practical effects or digital, or what's your favorite to do?
I like them both. I used to just be hardcore practical, wouldn't want nothing to do with digital, but nowadays digital has come a long way, and it definitely has its place, especially in independent cinema, well, in all cinema. But for me, I'm not working with big budgets when I'm making something, right? So if I want to blow something up, I generally can't afford to blow up a house or a car or whatever. So it makes sense. You do that stuff digitally, and hard surface things like vehicles or machinery, things like that look really good digital most of the time. You never know you're looking at something that's digital. It's the organic characters that tend to give themselves away as digital. So when I can help it, I steer away from that kind of visual effect in my own work. But I've done it sometimes in music videos and stuff, and it's still cool. I didn't really. The short answer is I love them both, but for very different reasons. I love the challenge of visual effects because I'm still probably only 4 or 5 years into working in that field, and it's super fun and challenging, and I like that. The other thing it opened up for me, and for any independent filmmakers that might be watching, I would say learn the program Blender, because it is a 100% free program, free to download, use, and it's fantastic. You can do just about any big budget film special effect in this program that is completely free, and you will up your game with what you can do in your films for no budget. So check it out. Blender.
Nice.
Blender.org is the website.
Blender, I'm sorry, you kind of...
blender.org is the website where you can download it. Yeah. And no, they're not paying me to say this.
Definitely going to check that out. You got any questions, Boom?
I know you kind of went over a couple, because I was going to ask about Mr. Balllegs, but because he was almost like a whole new other character. Was it like your idea to like bring him to life, or was it somebody else's like idea to kind of bring him to life?
I mean, I didn't create the character in terms of coming up with the idea of him. That whoever I would, was writing, the writers of that show, and I'm sure, or the producers, or someone.
Yeah, well, you kind of
that wasn't me came up with the idea.
You gave him his like look. So
yeah,
you gave him his personality.
Yeah, my task was just to design him and create a physical version of him. But it was cool. That's one thing that I worked on where, because I just work on so many different projects, and a lot of times I just I'll look at some of my credits on IMDb and I'll go, fuck, I don't even remember working on that movie. and that's one where the character, it is a character in the show, even though it doesn't talk or anything, and
Right.
it had a life beyond the show. Like I still would see people in Facebook groups or Instagram make their own version and post it and stuff, and it's kind of cool to have something that you've done just live beyond what it was initially created for.
And I know my husband will be mad if I don't ask this. On Star Trek Into the Darkness, it said you did like concept art. Like, did you just like do like panel work, or what did you do?
I worked on one very specific scene in that film, which was the opening sequence where they're on the red volcano planet. And so all of the aliens that live on that planet, it starts out with Kirk has stolen their religious scroll from them, and he runs and slams it in a tree. It unfurls, and then all these aliens are chasing him, and they have like spears and primitive weapons that they're throwing at him. So on that, I designed and built all of the scroll, as well as all of the weapons and tools that those aliens use. So I was on that movie, even though it was just one scene, which is probably 3 or 4 minutes of screen time. I was in pre-production on that film for about 3 months of just building everything, and then I think I was on set for maybe a week or two filming it. And my only purpose on set was to fix things when they broke, because because it's all these fake weapons that actors are throwing, and the few things did break, so it was a good thing I was there. But one thing in particular about that movie, which was a fun little thing, and it's a good that I was on set for. There is a scene where like the elder alien has like this staff, and he draws a picture of the Enterprise in the sand, and it's just like a quick cutaway. But when I was originally building the props, the reference that I was given was, it should be kind of like Yoda's cane, So I made this little cane type thing, and then literally 20 minutes before they're shooting the scene, the director said, no, it shouldn't look like that. It needs to be this big staff. He's a full size dude. So I had all these spare parts from all the other from molds from the other weapons that didn't get used. So,
to build it up.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you literally got like a
yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No worries. So I ended up just having to build that on the fly, and then the tip of it that he actually does the drawing in, I just had to. There's this stuff you can get at Home Depot. It's called Steel Stick. It's like a 2-part epoxy. You smush it together and it hardens. And so I just had, because there was no time, I had to sculpt the tip of that at the very last minute, and it hardened just in time to paint it and get it to set.
Nice.
So that was an extremely last minute addition. So
that's actually another question I was going to ask about. Any last minute crazy moments on set that you had to change anything, any props?
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest last minute one. And then also on that, so the scroll that Kirk's running with, I think it was Chris Pine plays Kirk in that, right?
Yes.
I made a few different versions of the scroll. There were a couple what they call hero props, and those are the ones that you see in close up that typically, if the prop has a mechanical action, it's the hero prop that will have the action. So in this case, the one that unfurls, that's a hero prop. But I also made a bunch of stunt props because you don't want to, because the hero one is mechanical, and you don't want to have your actor doing 100 takes or whatever, running with a mechanical object, because it could easily break. So I did make a few stunt ones, and the first one, he was squeezing it so hard as he was running that he popped one of the bamboo rods out and had to fix it on set. But that was not a big deal. And of course, I had a bunch of backups anyway. When there's a saying in the prop business, or at least in bigger films, it's one is none. So basically, you never make just one of any prop, because it will break and then you'll be screwed, or the production will be. So anytime you have to make something, generally speaking, you're making a lot of them just in case,
So how long does it take, since you have to make multiple ones, how long does it usually take to like get a decent amount of number props done?
Yeah, it's really different from prop to prop. So with that scroll, the hero scroll an extremely long time, because there's basically two kinds of props you can make. I mean, there's more, but to generalize, there's the kind of prop where you can make an original and then you can make a mold of it and then just cast it and and stamp out however many you need because you have a mold. And then there's props like that scroll that are so complex that they're buildups. You're building them from the ground up every time. And those type of props take longer because then you have to not only build it from the ground up, but because it's not working from a mold, you have to match it exactly to that first version you made. So those ones take a while. I mean, probably building each one of those was probably at least a week itself on each one of those hero scrolls. But like I said, 3 months in on that film, just building stuff. So
Nice.
But it's all fun.
Yeah.
I was my friend Adam Helms came over, and I basically recruited him to help me build a bunch of spheres and stuff like that. So he did a lot of the hard work on that, or the monotonous work,
And I also, just so you know, my husband, he was listening and he gave me a thumbs up. So he liked what you said. He liked it. So
Love that scene. It was an awesome scene.
he said he loved that scene. It was an awesome scene. I don't know. He's standing behind the computer. So
thanks very much. Thank you.
And I see you did a prop maker for Ted 2.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. So another friend of mine, JP Jones, who I've worked with on a number of films, he was also on We Bought a Zoo. Basically, almost every prop contact that I've had now all stemmed from We Bought a Zoo. Basically, there's so many prop guys on that. Anyway, JP called me up on that, and they were doing this is so common in the prop industry, or at least for me it is. I don't know if it is for the rest of people, but I'll get a call and it'll be like, oh shit, we need like all this stuff yesterday. In this case, I think I had a week or two. They're doing there's a scene in Ted 2 where they go to Comic-Con in New York, and there's a bunch of cosplayers with all these different different costumes and sci-fi weapons and stuff like that. So I had to build like in a week or two all these different replicas of weapons from different movies for the cosplayers in the background of that scene. So it was like a lot of Star Wars weapons. There was like a Barbarella gun. There was some different random generic like alien light up staffs and things like that. And it was super fun and really fun to build all that stuff. You can only see about a quarter of it in the movie. But
it's so amazing to hear that. It's like you put so much work into like one scene, especially with props, and it's only in for like so long.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've done plenty of stuff that it just doesn't even make it into the movie. It's just the way it goes,
Yeah,
you can't get too attached to it. For me, the joy of it is in the building. I just have fun putting things together. So once it's out of my hands, and as long as they pay me for it, I don't care what they do with it after.
So even if it's not in the movie, you still get paid. So.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just the nature of filmmaking. Some stuff is going to hit the cutting room floor, or sometimes art department wise, you'll build something for a scene and it just so happens the camera never pans that direction, and it is what it is. But if it did, they were prepared with the right prop, so
Exactly. I guess whether it be a prop or a scene, I was an extra and never backed down. And at one point I was around the ring, interacted with with Cam, the main fighter in it, and unfortunately they didn't use that scene. But it's and then like I even shouted out when people were booing. I don't know if you saw that about the fight.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Well, there's the part where they're fighting, and it's kind of boring, like he's losing, and we were booing, so I just shouted out, "Fight back!" really loud. So everybody started chanting, "Fight back!" I'm thinking, "Oh, that's still gonna make it." Nah, it was bad, unfortunately.
Oh man!
But hey, I made $500 just for being an extra. That was like
score.
Nice.
Fed us, and so
yeah.
It was a good time though, and watching it, and the road that they fought on, everything. It was the mat, and they were painting on the bruises and sweat in between takes, and it was like from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning. We did that whole end scene. So I mean, it is a lot of work goes into it. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's funny, yeah, because you'll be on something like that, and you'll work the entire day for something that may only be on camera for, if at all, for
It's
for
like you see me
one
briefly
camera
for
pan.
like 4 seconds when he walks by in the club. I'm talking to this girl. Like if you're looking, you can tell it's me. Otherwise, I'm just like in the
Sure.
ground. It's
I
like
was
where's
gonna
Waldo?
say, it's like here you're gonna tell all these people, "Hey, I'm an extra in this film," and then they show the film, and you don't know you're cut, and you're just like,
And then
"No,
cut.
you're
Oh,
lying.
that
You
would be
ain't in
horrible.
that."
They like have like a speaking part, and then it's cut, and you don't know it. Like, oh yeah, I had a part with so and so, and then it's cut out.
Yeah. It happens quite a lot. I mean, there were actors that got cut out of Star Wars. That one has to sting.
Yeah.
After the fact, you could have been
Right.
set for life, but your character's on the cutting room floor.
Oh, I was in Star Wars. Where?
In the deleted scenes that never got released.
Yeah, you got to go to the special features, and then there's a hidden Easter egg, and
Charles Cochran was asking, what future gigs do you have coming? I know we somewhat briefly combed over it when we started, but I don't know if he was
Sure. Well, unfortunately, the nature of the industry is that I have what they call non-disclosure agreements on everything I work on. So I can never talk about what I have coming up in detail. Like I can't say, "Oh, I did this," but I with being super vague, I did get to do a little bit of prop work on a big franchise horror film coming out, which I was very excited to work on, and that's as specific as I can get on that. And then and I've just been doing visual effects work. One thing I do have coming out that I can talk about, a buddy of mine, his name's Anthony Ferraro, and he has a YouTube channel called Create Sci-Fi, which is a really great channel. I recommend it for anybody who's interested in prop making or just low budget filmmaking, because he just basically shows you how to like go to a dollar store and spend $5 and then build a spaceship out of it or whatever. It's a really fun channel. And me and him, he wrote and directed a Star Wars fan film and asked me to be in it. So I have a small role as Twi'lek, which is the blue aliens with the weird head tentacles in this film, and I also did some visual effects. So it was a good excuse to, even though it wasn't an official Star Wars film, just to get to do some fun, Star Wars spaceships flying around and speeder bike action, things like that.
Okay.
And anytime I get to act in anything, it's always a hoot.
Yeah.
Is there anything? Do you have any plans in the future? Any ideas that any more movies like Dry Blood you want to write any more?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a stack of scripts that I've written so far, and I'm and the beginning stages of writing another one right now, which, yeah, it's probably my 8th or 9th script. I'm not sure, around there. And this one I plan on being my next film that I'm going to make myself,
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a tough business, screenwriting, like if you're writing something to sell, it's a whole other thing. But the good thing about making films is making independent films is you can just write something and go, yeah, that's the one I'm going to make. And then
Okay.
hopefully if you can get it funded, you can make it.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
Right.
So, well, definitely keep an eye out for future projects there for sure. So.
Thanks. Yeah, if all goes well, I hope to be in pre-production on it later this year, and that I don't have a final title for it, but I will say it's a sci-fi horror film, so it has a lot of sci-fi elements to it, but it will be extremely gory.
Nice.
So
We like those types.
Yeah.
Well, Dry Blood was pretty gory too. So yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch that one yet. What happened?
Oh, yeah, check it out.
Yes.
But yeah, this one, yeah, Dry Blood. They're both gory, but in different ways. Dry Blood, you wouldn't call a feel-good film at all. It's very disturbing, graphic violence, and this is more the vibe of this film, although arguably more violent than Dry Blood, but it's more of like a fun 80s horror vibe to it, you know.
Oh, nice. I have to definitely check it out.
In terms of the
Yeah, I just
tone,
seen
so.
it says it's playing on IMDb TV for free. So
Oh yeah, no, Dry Blood, not the fun film, but still good. I mean, still watch it, please.
Yeah, I believe it's on Tubi too. But
Yeah, it's on Tubi.
oh, it's on Tubi.
and
Okay.
I think it's on
and you
YouTube
also,
as well, but
Dread,
it's like a rental through there. So, but you can do it
yeah.
for free through Tubi, I believe.
and then Dread Central. It's one of their numbered movies, which I have it that way because
Oh, sweet.
I get
Yeah.
the Dread Central Presents movies. I got
Yeah,
them all, so.
if I could just take a moment too, just to plug them.
Oh, go for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Dread and Epic Pictures. Dread is the horror subsidiary of Epic Pictures. So together, they released Dry Blood, and my buddy Rob Galuzzo, who plays a store clerk in Dry Blood, he was working for Dread at the time, and he brought us on. But yeah, it's just been a really great experience working with that team. And super cool, and they put out a lot of great movies, so people who are watching, if you haven't checked out their catalog, check it out. They've got a lot of great stuff. Probably the biggest film on their catalog that a lot of people have seen is Terrifier, but there's a lot of other stuff on there that kind of slipped under the radar that's really cool. So yeah, check out what they're doing. Good stuff.
Yeah, Epic, it was like epicpictures.com, something like that, or I forget if it's Dread.
Yeah, I think so. It might be.
I think it's Epic Pictures. I forget. I should know because I just ordered Queen of Spades. Like I have all their numbered movies.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if you Google Epic Pictures, it'll probably be the first thing that comes up.
And then actually, one of them they're releasing just came out. Benny Loves You, the little Elmo killer.
Oh, I just did a review on that.
Oh, nice. I see all their promo for it, but I have not watched it yet.
It's like a demented bunny Elmo killer.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a pretty wild movie. Yeah.
It's like Toy Story Fights Back. That's how I described it.
Yeah, Toy Story Fights Back. We see everything.
Nice. Oh, I can't. This isn't necessarily movie related, but this is a project I've been working on just on my own. Here, I'll show you guys. I've just been building these little zombie heads, you know.
Yeah, those are cool. When we got zoomed out a little bit, I noticed that one and the one on your other side. That one too.
These are that guy and this guy. They're from the same mold. They're just different paint schemes. So I build these for fun, but if you want one, cool. They're also available for sale on my website.
I saw you on Facebook. Yeah, I saw you had posted pictures of those on your Facebook. Yeah.
And then the zombies on the other side, they're heavy, so I can't pick those up. Those ones I didn't build. Those are actually lights. They have lights inside the rib cages. Those were made by my friend Kevin Clem, who's a cool artist. If you're familiar, I don't know if you are, with the magazine Girls and Corpses. He was the guy that would build all the corpses. I know it's a very he would build all the corpses for that magazine, and I really love his art. So I've got a couple those other corpses to the side when we were in the wide shot. That was nice. All his stuff.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw the other ones. Those ones caught my eye because they're a little bit more colorful. Those ones caught my eye a little bit before that one, but yeah, those are all pretty cool. Then he has some sort of thing with bones up top.
Oh yeah, lots of
I think lots of weird.
That bone sculpture. It's that was a piece of art from my friend Skip Crank, who I'd mentioned earlier, who was the guy that got me started in the prop business. So I've got a few of his pieces. He's a cool assemblage artist, I guess you would call it. You know, just taking cool things and making these rad sculptures out of them.
Nice.
So yeah, not really horror related. Earlier you said you were a tattoo artist, or you
for a
form, or you actually
brief period of time.
inked?
Yeah, no, I was a regular tattoo artist. Okay. Yeah, so how I got into that was for a large part of my life, I was a touring musician, and I'm still a musician. I still, release albums and stuff. I just, got into movies more and stopped touring as much. But on the drummer for one of the bands, my main band is called System Sin. That's the band I write for and sing in, but I was also playing keyboards in a band called Imperative Reaction. And the drummer for that band, Trevor Friedrich, was a tattoo artist, and he just started tattooing me every time we would be on the road. and then he kind of showed me the ropes on that, and I just got into it and did that for a few years. But then, kind of the movie gigs kind of took off, and I just went another direction with that. But yeah, it was super fun, and you know, it's basically like because you know, it's basically you just like getting to hang out with people for a couple hours, and you just, you know, really get to know people and have cool conversations with them while you're making art. Their skin just happens to be the canvas, so it was a really cool thing. But yeah, I think, you know, my love of making movies kind of trumped my desire to be a tattoo artist.
Yeah, I think the same. I would probably pick the same. Well, I'm not no artist. I probably draw like a second grader, but I wouldn't be have the option of that. But yeah, I would probably pick, you know, doing something with movies over that as well.
Yeah.
Not dissing the other one. I'm just saying.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Anyone have any questions in the chat? Or?
No, just had that one from Charles. I haven't seen any other ones pop up.
So, let's see. I'm trying to think what else we covered. Any other interesting stories that you want to share, or experiences?
Anything else you would like to plug, or
yeah, or if you want to plug anything, or
yeah, sure. I mean, I'll plug my band System Sin, and it's spelled with Sin is spelled with a Y, so System SYN. If you go to systemsin.com, you can get my albums on there, as well as those zombie head things. If you like those things, I also sell my art as well as music stuff on there. But I put out a new album last year called Once Upon a Second Act, and if you look for that on YouTube, you'll find a music video that I shot, that I directed and did everything on for the title track on that album. And then just this year I released a remix album from that called If It Doesn't Break You. And so yeah, there's my music plug. Yay.
When you mentioned the YouTube, does it do you have your own channel, or
yeah, it's System Sin, the name of the band. That's my channel. So it's band related stuff, but I also do some tutorial things on. I've got one. I've only done like a couple tutorials so far, but I've got more lined up. Actually, I'm going to grab something over here and show you.
Okay, go for it.
So the first tutorial video I did was buying like a super cheap, crappy Creature from the Black Lagoon mask, and I show you in the video how to turn it into like a display. So this is what it became after I took the mask and where's the
there you go. Right there.
Yeah, so it goes from like a really cheap, I think it was a $11-12 mask on Amazon, to just like a hard display that can go on your shelf. And I just go through basically foam filling it, repainting, and doing a little additional sculpting work on it. So I've got that, and I got another video on making like little zombie busts and things like that. But I've got many other things planned, but as per usual in my life, oftentimes, the paying the bills gets in the way of.
Right. Yeah, I just figured I'd ask in case it wasn't clear, in case anybody wanted to look it up. But yeah, I'm going to definitely have to check that out.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
So,
super fun stuff.
obviously keeping busy, but would you have any plans of maybe doing any conventions or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just saw the notification last week that Monster Palooza is coming back, and that's the big convention here in LA. It's actually in Burbank, which is the city I live in, so it's super convenient for me. So I unless I'm out of town, on a film or at a festival or something, I hit it every year. So that's in October. I'm definitely planning on going. I mean, I'm not going as like a guest. I'm going just to go because I'm
just to have fun.
Yeah, I love horror things, and but generally speaking, they do like an art gallery section there every year where they have like a lot of cool props and things like that on display, as well as paintings. So almost every year, possibly every year, I don't know if I missed a year, I've had paintings on display there. So, I don't know if that'll happen again this year. I haven't talked to them about it, but possibly. And if
now
not,
that they're starting
probably
up again after the last year and a half, 2 years, been kind of crazy and no conventions, but they're finally starting back up.
Yeah,
so.
I'm just excited to go back to it, because for me, and I think for a lot of guys in just working in the film industry, going to a horror convention like that is like your chance to see all of your industry friends in in one place, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A lot of times you only see people when you happen to be working on a film with them, which isn't often, you know, for a lot of them. So, but I love the horror conventions because you just go from booth to booth, and it's generally speaking
Yeah.
one person after another that you've, you know, had some kind of a friendship with over the years. So
Mhm. Yeah.
it's super fun.
That's pretty much what they're all about. I mean, besides meeting you and all the guests, I mean, just sharing common interests and all the cool stuff that they display. And I mean,
Oh,
I love
yeah.
it. It's great. I mean,
And I love seeing I mean, it's awesome. You know, on one hand, you get to see all the stuff that all these people have created whose work you know and love. But the other cool thing is you'll get to go and you'll get to see work by new artists that you haven't heard of that just rented, you know, they got a booth there on the floor and they're making cool masks or artwork or whatever. And so you get to discover a lot of new stuff at conventions as well. Super.
I've only been to a couple, but yeah, the artwork is usually just super amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. What conventions are out by you guys?
I think Days of the Dead, and I don't know if there's any. Even I'm in Wisconsin. I don't think there's any, but Chicago isn't that far. I think Days of the Dead has been in Chicago.
Nice. Yeah, I have not been to that.
I can't think of anything else that's going on right now that I've seen. I haven't been to a convention in years.
Yeah. Spooky Empire in Orlando. I went to a few months ago, and they're doing another one in October.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
And cool.
I'm not sure who was I think like Days of the Dead are pretty much the ones that are starting to do more conventions. I haven't heard of too many other ones.
Nice. There's one that I really want to travel to in Indiana called Mask Fest, and it's just people that make masks, and it's like, you know.
Yeah, they had that one year. It was like connected with Horror Hound.
Yeah, it's connected.
Yeah, because I went to Horror Hound.
All right.
Yeah, I went to Horror Hound, and I remember they had a separate section of Mask Fest. Mask Fest, but it was like all combined, but it did have a separate section.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, that would be my jam because I'm a big time mask collector. So
yeah,
I think Horror Hounds might be doing one. I have to look it up. I'm not sure if they're back or not.
Oh, yeah. I just stalked the Mask Fest Instagram account, and then after the convention's over, I follow all the mask makers that sell stuff there, and I end up buying the leftovers. But someday I'd like to go so I can get first pick.
Yeah.
Charles Cochran says Motor City Nightmares for me, so I must be close to where he's at.
Oh, cool.
I think I know Wizard World's a little bit bigger, but I think I just seen somebody post a Wizard World was coming back this year too, but that's usually more of everything, not just horror.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else I've seen.
Oh, Texas Nightmare is supposed to be doing one this year. I forget if it's May or September if they moved it, but Texas Frightmare Weekend is coming back this year.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and they just had one in Vegas last month or a couple weeks ago or something too.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name, but yeah, I'm excited that things are getting back to normal because I'm ready to go to a convention again.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'd probably unless they have any in Madison, I don't know. Because we just moved to Wisconsin a few years ago, so I'm not familiar. I know like all the ones in Illinois were in Chicago, and that was kind of a pain in the butt. I hate Chicago. So trying to pain in the butt to go there, but
I think they have. Hold on, I'm going to look something up real quick. I think they have like a horror film festival in Madison because I want to say that Dry Blood played there. But
nice. I know a couple years ago they had a film fest in Milwaukee. Because I don't know if you're familiar with Joe Bob Briggs. John Blue. He actually went to that film festival. Then he did his Rednecks Save Hollywood bit after the festival. And I didn't know about the festival, so I only made it to the Rednecks thing. But apparently he was at that film festival.
Oh,
so
nice.
Man, I wish I would have known about the film festival because Milwaukee's like an hour and a half away. I could have seen that.
I pulled it up in Madison, and so we showed Dry Blood there in 2016. It's called Madtown Horror Film Festival. So I don't know if it's still going, but it was in 2016. So they're
nice.
Yeah. that's one thing I love, the independent horror film festival circuit, which I was completely ignorant to until I made Dry Blood, and then we started submitting to festivals, and then I had was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to go out and travel to a lot of these, and it's so cool. Like, first off, if you've never been to a horror film festival, I highly recommend it, because most of them are populated with just the filmmakers. So if you go there as a fan, you get like premier access to like all these filmmakers, and it's super cool. You get the first look at their films, and you just get to see a lot of stuff before it ever gets released. And in some cases, some of the stuff never gets released. So sometimes you'll get to see films that just you can't see.
Right.
Elsewhere.
I remember seeing one. It was like at a regular convention when just filmed that, but they had a film thing there. And I remember the only one we went and seen had something to do with Night of the Living Dead. I don't remember the exact title, but it was like animation. And it had Tony Todd in his voice, but like the animation was a little off. But I never noticed that got like sent anywhere. But I don't remember the exact title. But I remember going and seeing that. So I wish I could remember the title. But my brain
Charles is
is
leaving. He just wanted to say you were a great guest. So sorry about that.
Thanks, Charles. Thank you so much for watching.
All right, have a good night, Charles. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only one we went to, because we was more there for the convention. We didn't know about the film festival. It's like, oh, Night of the Living Dead, thing that they're having. We got to make sure to go see that. I want to say Daniel Harris was in it too, but don't quote me on that.
Oh, I'm quoting you.
Because it's been so long ago, I don't really remember. But I want to say it was Daniel Harris and Tony Todd that was in this Night of the Living Dead animated thing.
Can't go wrong with either of them.
Well, I forgot about it till now. Like I said, my brain don't work as well as it used to. I'm getting old.
Yeah, I saw Witching and Bitching at a convention before they had released it. That was interesting.
I haven't seen that one. Worth watching?
Yeah. Just don't bitch about it.
Oh man, so this is a film, and unfortunately I'm going to have to run in a little bit, but I did want to just mention this because it occurred to me. This is a film that, to me, I think it slipped under a lot of people's radar, but I absolutely loved it. I don't know if you're a fan of the Christmas horror genre at all, but I saw a film at it's a film festival in Portland called PD Extreme Film Festival, and it was called Red Christmas. And it was a very unique, I don't want to say too much about it, a very unique take on Christmas horror films. And I absolutely loved it. And to me, that was an example of like a great.
Yeah, I think that was on Shudder not too long ago. Doesn't it have Dee Wallace in it?
Yeah, Dee Wallace.
Yeah, I saw that when it was on Shudder.
That was a gem I wouldn't have discovered if not for the festivals. And it was great. And I met the director afterward. Craig, I'm blanking on his last name. Sorry, Craig. But really great dude, Australian director, and just because of the nature of film festivals, we went and had like breakfast the next morning and stuff. So it was super cool experience there. And then this is an example of one that I don't think has been released yet, but there is a great full length documentary making of Red Christmas that is just as great as the movie itself in a way that I don't know if you're a fan of films like American Movie or movies about making movies. I love those, and it was a great one too, but hopefully that will get released at some point in time. But
who knows, maybe Shudder will release it.
Never know,
because they do that Into the Darkness or whatever documentary, so who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Especially now they got Joe Bob there. He likes to bring in stuff like that. So. Oh yeah,
I as a kid I would always watch Joe Bob on Joe Bob Briggs Drive-In Theater. I think was that USA or TNT? I can't remember.
I know TNT had Monster Vision. That's where I tuned in.
TBS,
so anything before that, I don't really remember, but. I know in the 90s he was on TNT for the Monster Vision.
Oh, okay.
And then in 2018, I want to say he came to Shudder.
Yeah, it's cool to see him get a resurgence.
Yeah. I love watching, like, the first time he came with that 13 episode thing is like at the end of that, it was like literally I've seen everybody. It's like everybody was in tears. I literally cried. It's like you could tell he kind of missed it. And
Yeah.
then now he's like coming out of a shell and like really enjoying it. And they're
Yeah.
having a big jamboree, like New Jersey, I think, right this weekend.
The
Doing
crazy,
some sort
the crazy thing to me is that when I was a kid and watching him, I had one friend that also watched him, and that was it. Out of everyone I knew, it was just me and my friend James in high school. Were like the only people that knew he existed. And so I thought it was a very small indie thing. And now with come back on Shudder, come to find out there's people all over the world that knew who he was. And,
Yeah.
it was just, I was in a small town.
Yeah.
It wasn't
he
that-
used to like write for a newspaper before he
Yeah.
started stuff and reviews, and then yeah.
Yeah, and he had a book, Iron Joe Bob, which I had
Yeah.
too. And anyway, I do got to get running. I'm actually
Yep.
sadly mid gig, as is my life.
All
But-
right. Well, thank
but
you
it was-
very much for coming.
yeah, it was
on.
great talking to both of you. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and hopefully we
No
can
problem.
do it again sometime. Maybe
have turtle
maybe when the
Jesus
next
watch
movie's
over
coming
you.
out,
I was
we
gonna
can
say
talk
when
about
that
that.
secret project you can't talk about now, we'll talk about it later. So.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's it. Have turtle Jesus watch over you.
Yeah, always.
Yep.
All right, have a good night.
All right.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I got.
I don't know what happened to your friend. He like
Well, I got
acted
a
like he was
message-
having problems.
Yeah, that's what he said. Technical problems. I guess he couldn't. I guess he ended up not being able to get back on. I guess I didn't see the full message. I just saw sorry having technical problems. So, but it was fun though.
Yeah, it was.
Some interesting prop stories there, and all the work that goes into it, and
Yeah.
learning a
You
little.
never
bit.
think about how much work actually goes into it because, like I said, when you see the movie, you see it for a split second, if at all, and you don't think about. You're thinking more about the movie and not like the little props that are sitting around or whatever. How much
or
it
the
takes
props
to
that
make
they're
a
using.
creature?
Is, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, they're using the weapons and all that, and but some of the stuff that might be sitting there, like that vase and
Yeah.
Bitsy, and I mean, you're paying probably more attention to the characters themselves,
and
depending
not
on-
something like that. You don't think about how much work goes into it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's good to get something from that.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else going on? Anything, or you have any news you want to share?
I can't think of anything. I like news wise, I posted my news that I cover yesterday. I just
Mhm.
learned today because I covered because they're gonna have a Scooby Doo Courage the Cowardly Dog
Mhm.
mashup movie. You know how they usually do.
Yeah.
But apparently, I just learned today that they're not even like the creative Courage is not even a part of that. They're just taking because I guess when you do something on Cartoon Network, they own that property and they don't have to bring in the creator. So I guess I don't know. I'll probably still watch it anyway because I absolutely love Scooby. I'm not as familiar with Courage, but I've seen some of it because that came later. But
Right.
that's more, I think, my son's thing than mine. But I'll still watch it. Scooby Doo. I gotta watch it. But
Mhm.
in case anybody needs to know, that does not have the creator of Courage involved. But yeah, I just learned that today, or I would have added it in my news.
Mhm. I was going to say, I think you already posted your news for the week. What day
Yeah.
do you usually do that? You usually do that Fridays, right?
Yeah, I've been trying to do it every Friday. And I just, because I just started, I taught myself how to edit pictures on the computer, which I've never done. So I did a different picture for my thumbnail that it took me a little while to create because I don't know how to do it. And I don't know if people are like not liking it because I only had like 4 views on that video and I usually get like 20 on my news. So I don't know if my thumbnail's scaring people.
What is this thumbnail? Nah, it was, they don't realize it's you. They're just scrolling by. Nah.
Yeah. I like cut I took a picture of me and I like outlining of cut me out so my head's like on there, and so I don't know. It must not be a very nice picture.
I was gonna say, since you mentioned Scooby Doo, Freddie Prinze Jr. obviously was in the movies. He's going to be in Orlando at Spooky Empire. He's going to be there for one day. So
Oh, nice.
I'm going to have him sign my I Know What You Did Last Summer, though. I said with my friends, I'm like, I'm going to get my Scooby-Doo stuff. So I'm like, nah, it's a horror convention. I'm doing I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Right.
Though it's too bad when I met Matthew Lillard, I had him sign Scream, but let's just say I had him sign the Scooby-Doo movie and then Freddie Prinze Jr. Man, I would have had two of the characters on there. But
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, I heard Matthew Lillard. Yeah, I have trouble, but yeah, I've heard he's just amazing to meet.
He's awesome.
But I haven't heard the same about Freddie Prinze Jr. Just put it that way.
I haven't really heard anything about meeting him. I don't know how he'll be. We'll see.
I've heard some bad things. I don't know personally. I've never met him. Just going by what I've seen other people talk about, he's not always the nicest. I'll say always because I don't know. Everybody has their bad days.
Exactly. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've heard a lot of stuff about Shannon Doherty, and maybe it's just work-wise. I don't know. But when I met her, I mean, she was nice to me. So, I mean.
Yeah, I've never met her either, and I've never heard anything about her. But,
no.
Yeah, I've heard about Freddie Prinze Jr., that he's not always the nicest. But he might be different at a convention. I don't know. I don't know, like, where these people are getting this from. Like, they approached him on the street or at an actual convention, or if they worked with him. I don't know the context. But
yeah, because who knows if they just saw him on the street or if they bugged him at the wrong moment, I mean,
right, yeah.
Don't approach them, just let them be,
Right, yeah. I don't know what the context is. I've just seen people talk, I'll see something like a thread or something talking about celebrities meeting, and that's where I got it from, but I don't know the context.
Right.
But so, it could be just some random people approaching him on the street. I would probably be an ass too.
Exactly. It's like, and you are, or, leave me alone.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know the context, so he might be great. Never know. But I heard Matthew Lillard is usually great.
He's awesome.
I see pictures of him.
Everybody coming in line, getting kind of long and stuff. He even got up and just he just said hi to the line. He's like, "Yep, I'll see it." He just came to the line, and then he went back up and would talk to people. And yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say, I just seen some pictures of him hugging fans.
Yeah. So I was so mad. I was gonna make I forget if it was a Scream joke or whatever. Oh, I know. I was gonna say about being in the line, getting a little woozy here. And then the asshole in front of me took the line that I was gonna say, and I'm thinking, I'm like, what the hell? I was gonna say because I was talking to the person behind me who had the paddle movie, Without a Paddle. There we go. Now I can talk. Well, he had brought a paddle to have signed and everything because he was in that. And I'm like, yeah, I sang this line, making me a little woozy. And we were joking around. And then of course I couldn't believe that person in front of me stole that before literally 2 feet in front of me, and he's telling it. And he didn't even say it funny or nothing. He goes, yeah, I feel a little. And I'm thinking, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, then if you said it, it's gonna make it look like you're copying.
Exactly. I couldn't say it now because he just said it. And what am I going to say? Oh, I said, I'm not going to start anything, whatever. But I was like, that bastard. So I was trying to think really fast, what to do. So I just did a quick Shaggy, and I probably can't do it now. It was better then. But I was like, yoinks, where's Scoop, man? And he's like, hey, you trying to take my job? So I mean, it was still funny, but I mean, but still, I wanted to do the woozy one because that made more sense because we were waiting in line a long time before he.
Right.
So, but
I got a new toy. It's a shark cutout. I had a TV dinner the other day that had a picture of a shark on it. I was like, I gotta have that, so I cut it off.
Yeah.
So I got a new toy. Yeah, basically. If I see a shark, I must have it. I will cut it off of TV dinner.
Like any tuna cans or soup cans or anything, or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was Devour because I ate it for lunch. It was I forget the brand, but it's Devour or something like that. They're promoting Shark Week, so they have this on the box.
Right.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. So hopefully I could cut it out. I don't think I didn't. It looks kind of stupid, but it's not that bad. At least I didn't cut the shark in half or anything.
Right. I'm going to see what that message said that Justin sent. I'm sure it said technical difficulties, but let's see. I'm having a lot of technical issues at the moment. I'll see if I can get it fixed and try to jump back on. My stupid phone is acting up. Well, I guess he didn't get back on, but oh well. So hopefully it'll work for him next week.
Yeah.
So, yep. So next week, got Jeff Kirkendall coming on from Return to Splatter Farm. He played Jeremy. I don't know if you watched Return to Splatter Farm yet or
No,
not.
I haven't.
Well, he was actually in Sharkenstein also.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean, you've seen him in some other ones. He's done a bunch of different Wild Eye movies and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, Bigfoot versus Zombies 2, as Patrick would say. 'Cause I
haven't seen that. I've heard you guys talk about it, but I haven't
He
sing
always
that.
jokes
I've
about
seen
it
Shark
because
and Steen.
because
My
I get-
favorite shark movie.
So,
That's a lie.
but yeah, but he's a cool guy though. We did like a when I thought my friend Jamie from high school was going to be one of the co-hosts, but she gets migraines a lot and stuff, and she actually was in the hospital for some months and stuff, so she's got health issues, and
Yeah.
she unfortunately can't commit to it, and she really wanted to at first, but just everything that's going on with her, and she hate to commit, and
Yeah.
she was like seriously sick, which I didn't know that because I didn't talk to her in a while, but yeah, like 3 or 4 months she was in the hospital, so
Oh, wow.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I know those migraines can. My son gets something similar. It's not migraines, but he gets really bad headaches that I have to call him out of school because he just. It's almost like a migraine. It's like if it gets too bad, it makes him like actually get sick and stuff like that. It's just we haven't quite figured out. First, I thought it was reaction because he's ADHD. First, I thought it was reaction to his medicine, but the doctors say no. But they haven't really explained why he gets these headaches, but it's just random. Just all of a sudden he'll start getting one, and if he don't get like aspirin or whatever in him before it gets too bad, it'll literally make him sick. But he's not like light sensitive or anything like a migraine.
Right. Well, besides the migraines, her being in the hospital, I think it was like some coughing and stuff with her lungs and stuff. And
oh, gotcha. I just
so
assumed it was migraine.
Just migraine. I mean, besides migraines, it was some other
Right.
stuff.
Well, I know they get bad. I just assumed it was the same thing.
Yeah. No, she still gets like, I forget which week, one of the beginning shows she was going to be on. It hit her at work that day. She had to leave and she couldn't come on to the show that night. And after that, she just said, "I'm sorry. I don't want to like commit." And then this happened again. And so,
right. Which is understandable.
But yeah, if you go in the Facebook group, of course, the House of Horrors podcast, I'm sure you'll recognize Jeff Kirkendall when you see the picture of him. You'll know who he is. It's
probably. Yeah, I'm a part of that. I'll have to look.
Yeah, I got all my guests listed up to August 7th, which is going to be Debbie Rashawn. So, talking to a few other people. I'm waiting to get back some other people that it should be good. So, we'll see how that goes. So, just gonna check their schedules and everything. And
well, you haven't had a problem with a guest yet that I'm aware of, anyway.
Nope.
You know, like a guest not being able to show up.
So,
I don't always get to catch your show because, like I said, usually we're eating dinner at this time, but I'm letting the guys starve for right now. They seem to be fine.
yeah. So yeah, last week didn't have a guest. Pretty much just started up with the guest. Mostly it was just a couple of us just talking about movies. Of course, the vampires and werewolves and all that. And so
right.
So this is show number 6, so it will be the second guest, and then from here on out, I'll probably have guests. So well, I mean, not every week, obviously. I mean, there'll be weeks that can't have one every week of the year. I got a guest, yeah. Tonight, I get a guest every week. That would be cool. That would be great, but yeah. No.
Yeah, I got to watch a little bits and pieces. Like I said, was trying to get dinner and everything. I was having to wait outside for pizza and everything, and yeah, and then the Alexa clipping events. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get a lot more rewatches on tonight's episode because, of course, Brad was doing that Voorhees woman from Friday the 13th, so
yeah,
at the same time, but that's all right. I wish them both the best as well. We're all doing our thing, so
yeah. But yeah, for the people rewatching, because I think the one person that's in right now is me, but
I'm wondering about that. Does that count as you or someone watching?
Well, because I got you on my phone too, so I could partake in the chat.
Oh, so you're yeah. So
But-
everybody who's just watching this obviously is watching the rerun. Thank you very much.
But yeah, everybody make sure I said this in my news. Everybody send their love to Horror of Spice, Hobbs Horror, and Jennifer Tochi. Don't need to say why. If you know these people, you know why.
Mhm.
Send love. They need
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I started off with that with my news on Friday, but I'll figure I'll add it here too, because I don't know if in case anybody that's watching didn't watch that.
Yeah, definitely. So
But yeah, it's not my business to say why. So just
if you know them, exactly. Yeah.
right. But yeah, definitely send them their love.
So yeah,
What the hell?
Patrick Saturday. I can't think of her name now. Muller from Triggered.
Yeah.
What's her name? Muller.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I have to
I
look it
forget
up.
her
He's
name
on
now. I'm
Triggered.
sorry. Yeah. So
Yeah, I still got to watch that because I haven't seen it, and I don't know anything about her. So
it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
that's
Good
what
stuff.
everybody. Oh, I don't know. I know that's what Patrick was saying, but
He said he liked it better than Scream. I'm like, I don't know about that, but it had some Scream. It had some Scream vibes, and I won't spoil it, but you'll see why when you watch it. Total. It's like, oh yeah, that's a total Scream vibe right there.
yeah, I've been kind of hesitant, but I seen it was on Tubi, so I need to watch it before tomorrow night.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to watch that either sometime tonight or tomorrow during the day. So I at least know what to say when she comes.
I have no idea who you are.
Exactly.
So at least you've seen some with Clint. You've seen some of the movies that he did the props on. So that's good there.
Now, I wanted to watch what you said was Dry Blood. I wanted to watch that, but I never got around to it. I forgot. But yeah, I'll have to put in my multi playlist that I never get. I have playlist, watch list, whatever you want to call it, out the ass, and I never watch any of it. And I'll be like, oh, what to watch? It's like, oh, I have like playlist over. I have a watch list on this channel. I got a watch list on this channel.
There's
No,
always
we're not
so
going to
much.
watch anything that I already previously was like, oh, this looks good. I want to watch that. No.
Yeah, there's so much to watch. You can never keep up with anything.
Oh, I have a watch list like miles long on like every streaming platform we have. Do I watch any of it? No.
Probably not.
No. But I have a plan to at some point. It's on my watch list.
Yep. Oh, I think I'm gonna head a little bit earlier tonight because I do have to work in the morning. So, if there's anything else you want to plug,
I can't think of anything. Just make sure to send love to those people I mentioned, and I think that's about it.
all right. So yeah, if you haven't yet, be sure to join my Facebook group for the House of Horrors podcast. That's what you'll just search under groups. Next week, like I said, Jeff Kirkendall will be on, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and now I can't talk. Right at the end, I can't talk. I'm good the whole way.
Oh, and tomorrow night, midnight hour on Half Cheetah Will Views channel, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Right. And same time here next week at the same channel, same horror channel. Like, I just got to rewind right at the last minute. I'm sure everybody will enjoy that. Oh, it's an interview. Oh, look at the ending of it. What was it? Bruce Almighty when he was making fun of Evan. I like to do the cha-cha like a sissy girl. And on that, I think we'll go ahead and end this. Have a good night, good week, and I'll be watching tomorrow, of course. So,
All right.
All
See
right.
you tomorrow.
all right,
Bye.